Leaders of the Huntsville area met to give an update on coronavirus. Our Sydney Stallworth gives us the latest.
The Bureau of Clinical Laboratories has processed at least 958 specimens.
There are concerns with the amount of protective personal equipment, gloves, gowns, and masks that hospitals have access to.
Our partners at the federal level have pulled down some resources from the Strategic National Stockpile.
Dr. Karen Landers says the rate at which COVID-19 spreads rests in our hands.
We have power over this virus. We have power right now to do things as we are doing in terms of our respiratory hygiene and our social distancing to reduce the spread of this virus.
In all the chaos, there are those who are struggling.
Vulnerable children are losing meals that they typically rely on, that they get at schools, and low-income families are struggling with lost wages.
Madison Mayor Paul Finley says the city schools are still making meals. Yesterday, it was announced that gatherings of 25 or more people are now prohibited in Alabama. ADPH admits they need more information to see how that impacts people in the workplace.
Businesses deserve answers.
Putting the Valley first, Sydney Stallworth, WZDX News.